welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Corey Seague. How's it going, Corey?
Oh man, another blessed day, another time to go get it. Man, these holidays, man, it's a holiday episode for some folks.
Absolutely. And so while we want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and whatever else you might celebrate, like and share us on YouTube, Facebook. We want to get this information out to everybody. So your family, your friends, people that you think might need it, like and share. Like and share on Facebook. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube at Empowerment Platform. We also on IG. We don't put a lot on IG, but we there. So if you're an IG person, go on there, look us up. And today's topic is how do you move past or how to move past being stuck. And I'm gonna bring Corey in on this and I'm gonna give you a scenario, Corey, and we're just gonna try to break this down because you and I have this conversation a lot. Why is it that people want to do better or they say they want to do better, but they never make the move? And they're like stuck in a cycle of, I know I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I want more. I want to do more, but it ain't even, Corey, it's not even, I can't seem to get there. It's like I'm just not moving forward, period. All the excuses come out. I'm busy. I'm overwhelmed. I got too much going on. Talk to me a little bit about that. I know you have heard that because we've talked about it. Tell me just from your perspective the things you've heard in that, and then we'll give the people some practical steps to get beyond it.
Oh man, this is near and dear to my heart, man, because you hear a lot of people, especially in a space where you're heavily into self development, into self growth, into really just like pursuing better in life, in general, whether that's financially, emotionally, intelligently, like whatever it may be, spiritually, and you hear the same things over and over. I don't have time to do this. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. Um, uh, what's our favorite one? Man, they just blessed.
Yeah,
Uh, they
they
just blessed. You just blessed to be able to do this. I think we should make that. We're gonna have to make that a T-shirt or something. We blessed. I just so happen to work hard. Uh,
ooh, write that down.
yeah, let's do that. But yeah, it's a lot of self-limiting beliefs, and I know that's like a buzzword for some people, but it's you hear the same reoccurring things over and over. It's I just basically you're frozen and you can't move. But yeah, it just my skin starts to crawl when I hear these types of things, because then when you really start to break it down, you do have time. And the reason you don't know what you're supposed to do is because you ain't never tried to do it. And the reason that you ain't never you know what I'm saying, you may feel like you're not as good as what you do is because you haven't practiced. Like I just feel like there's so many principles to overcome these things. And I know we're gonna talk about them today, but we hear it so much and we see it on our timeline. Woe is me. I can't, I don't have time. I wish I could. It honestly, it make my skin crawl when I hear stuff like that.
And I used to be okay, but now it's starting to aggravate me. And not in the sense that it's because the person's struggling, but the aggravation comes in when you ask me, okay, for man, I got so many different people. One person, we're supposed to be moving on accountability together. And everything that I do, I mention, okay, look, I checked this out, and they're like, man, that's great. You're moving forward, you're doing this. And I'm like, okay, you could do the same, especially when I know you have great potential, better, more gifted at certain things than I am, but you're not moving. But you're telling me, man, I'm gonna get there one day. What is one day? Like, what are you waiting on? Why not take the leap? And I'm gonna jump right there. Fear may be the cause for some of this. Just being comfortable where you are in your current situation, and then fear to step beyond or step outside of that. And so for both of us, we met a year ago in Michigan. There had to be some sacrifice And just for us to get on a plane to fly to a place, I'd never been to Michigan. I never been there, and to go and trust a process that I never been in because I wanted something different. I wanted to see what it was like. And man, we talking about you getting on stage in front of the great, the guru, ET, the brand master CJ, and then the other coaches. There was a level of hesitation, a level of fears like, man, am I going to perform in front? Am I going to do something? And easily we could have said, you know what? I'm not ready. I don't have the money. I'm scared. But we overcame that because it was something that we wanted to do bad enough. And I think some people just the fear paralyzes them and they don't want to move bad enough. So what do you think, Corey? How do we overcome the fear?
Um, Man, it really it's a shift in your mindset, right? So we talked to like you talked about Michigan. I want people to understand, and I'm gonna break it down for them too. We joined a program, right, to get some coaching. We joined the program, and what about maybe 2 weeks after we both joined, they announced, "Hey, these are two new members." We joined it. By 2 weeks later, they was like, "Hey, we got this speaker boot camp. We got this conference for y'all to come to. You got to go to Michigan. This is where." And here's the thing: didn't have no information at first. Um, so they said, "Man, you got to get the hotel. This is what's going to happen. This is where we got to meet up." Blah blah blah. I didn't want to spend money on a ticket. I didn't want to pay for a hotel. I didn't want to do none of that stuff. But I knew what I was going to do, right? Getting up on stage. I didn't want because you already know, man, you got to check yourself. And again, this goes into your beliefs too. Check yourself and be like, I know I ain't that good. So I'm gonna get some feedback. What
Mhm.
that feedback is gonna be, I have no clue. So you get up on stage in front of these people who've been in front of Nike and Adidas and NFL teams and NBA teams and all this stuff. And you're about to get feedback from them as far as how good you are at what you do. I could have easily been like, oh man, my stomach hurt today. I can't get up on the stage right now. But you have to shift your mind to say, you know what? By me going to Michigan, I'm bettering myself. By me getting up on that stage, I'm actually going to be able to get feedback from someone who's been there, done that. They've seen these brands, they've built people up and all these things. I honestly believe it is literally just a mind shift of even though I put myself in this situation, it's for the better. I'm feeding into the bigger picture. I guess the best way I could put it is stop waiting for the conditions to be perfect.
Oh, that's good. Yep. That's
Because we could have both easily said, "Nah, let me go practice some more. Let me wait till I'm speaking in front of Nikes. Let me make sure I'm presenting to the New Orleans Saints, and then I'm gonna go speak in front of them to see how good I am."
yeah, and that's what people talk about when the time is right. When the time gonna be right.
Right.
It
I don't
ain't.
know when the time is right.
And so to borrow piggyback off of that, Corey, I was listening to the Six to Success podcast. Shout out to them. And Jamal and CJ, they were talking about don't try to make the decision right. Well, don't try to make the right decision. Make the decision and then make it right.
Right.
So go ahead and make the decision, and then you make adjustments if it's not turning out the way you want it to, and make it right that way. And they were saying, they don't know if some of the decisions they made were right or not at the time they made them, but they made them right and they went all in. And I think that fear paralyzes so many people because they truly don't want to go all in. They got one foot in the job, the 9 to 5, and they got one foot in the career. I mean, in the entrepreneurship. And so they never just jump out there. Now, I when I first got into entrepreneurship, I didn't just jump out there either because I wanted a game plan. I had a process to move myself forward. But I do have a friend of mine. He used to tell me all the time in real estate. He was like, man, I just quit my job and this had to work. Some people can do that. And if you're a person that you got one foot in, one foot out, you might just have to take that leap all the way. Quit your job and go do what you got to do. But if you're not that person and you want to mitigate or lessen the risk, create you a game plan, a process, a timeline. Okay, I'm going to do this, and in 5 years, I'm going to leave my job. Because if you just say, well, I'm going to leave my job when the time is right, that time ain't gonna never be right.
It ain't never gonna be right.
You ain't gonna ever make the move. So that's number one. Let's get over the fear and jump all the way in. Number two, and I want to go back to what you're talking about, self-limiting beliefs. Some people just don't think they can do it. They don't think that they don't have enough confidence or faith in themselves to go through the whole process. And so I have some ideas around how you can help that part. But Corey, what do you think for people who don't believe this is for me? I got a lot of cousins drive trucks for other people. You can do your own trucking business, get your own truck, dispatch your own stuff, and run your own business. Still drive trucks for other people though. And I sent some of them the course from can't think of
Alex.
Alex. Yep.
Yep.
To this is how you can make that move from somebody that's done it. Crickets. So what
Hmm.
do you think about the self-limited beliefs? How do we get over that?
Oh yeah, and let me talk about that because I have a specific situation just like that. Had a cousin of mine, and if if you listening, I'm gonna just put your business on Front Street because I want people to learn from that. But I mean, my man got fired from his job. I think he was working at Acme or one of these companies for years, and start posting on Facebook. Oh man, I really want to open my own business. I don't know what to do, blah blah blah. And so I asked him. I said, "What you been doing the longest that come easy to you?" And he was like, "Well, I've been driving trucks for 20 something years." And I was like, "Okay, cool. So start driving trucks for yourself." And so then he immediately comes up with this. Guess what? Oh no, I can't do that because you don't understand the trucking game. And man, unless you one of these big companies that have all the freight and all this other stuff, man, you can't really make no money like that. In my mind, I'm like, I know a couple people who's actually doing it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I mean, if there's anything, he might, you know what, he might just be blessed. Alex just might be blessed.
Might be blessed.
But
Alex,
if you ever listen to his story, he was a club promoter. So you mean to tell me this club promoter can start a trucking business? I think he said he got 15 trucks on the road and a portal where he will book the stuff for you. You
yep,
just got to pay him a percentage.
yep.
So you mean to tell me this club promoter can run circles around you and he didn't know nothing about the industry? Self-limiting beliefs. But it's deeper than that. I believe it's a lack of self-worth. And you internally tell yourself, I can't, I'm not worthy, I'm not valuable enough to do this. I probably won't succeed. I don't know enough information. And here's where it comes from. You just going through the motion, you just not being intentional on your job. After doing 20 something years or something, you should be the expert, bro. I'm gonna just be honest.
Yep.
If you ask anybody, I don't care if you're a railroad worker, if you've been working on the railroad for 25 years, you probably know everything about the railroad. It just when it comes to these self-limiting beliefs, you really have to turn your mind into saying, I don't care. Literally, just be like, I don't care. And if I jump out there, here's the best part though, Tyrus. If I jump out there and I do, what's the worst that can happen?
And yeah, and I like to tell that to people as well. If we're not talking about life or death stuff, we're talking about you might lose a little bit of money,
Right.
you might lose a little bit of time, you might take some bumps and bruises, but if you still can wake up the next day and you breathing, you ain't lost nothing.
Correct.
Lost nothing. What I think, for self-limiting beliefs, some of the tips that I like to give people, and some people follow them, some people don't. Jim Rohn said, work harder on yourself than you work on your job. Self-development is the key. If you have limiting beliefs in areas, go figure out where you can change that. Read, study, learn. Yeah, he might say, "Well, I've been driving trucks, but I don't know the back end of the business." There's programs out there for that. Alex sells one.
Right.
Good Energy Worldwide. Look him up if you drive a truck. There are programs that will teach you nearly everything out here. How to do it, the pitfalls. If you want to learn from certain companies, look at who built those companies and then read their stories. They give you almost a blueprint. And like they say, there's secrets to success, there's breadcrumbs, there's a pathway. There is nothing that you can go do now that somebody hasn't walked that path already. And so your limiting belief is really rooted in you not feeling adequate. And you have to begin to change that mindset by studying, by reading, by if you got to get spiritual, if you got to meditate, whatever you got to do. Another thing you could do and what you should do is write down. I don't do vision boards. A lot of people like vision boards. I don't do them, but I do have a list of my goals that I read twice a day. The more you read your goals and start to share them with people, the more you will move yourself towards that path. You start to retrain your subconscious mind and your brain will just move you. That's why when you buy a car that's a certain color, you start seeing that everywhere because now you've been made aware that it exists. Before that, it's not like those white cars weren't on the road. You were just on autopilot, not
Hmm.
paying attention. But when you start to put information in your brain, let's say I want to make $100,000 a month, and I keep telling myself that. Eventually, my brain gonna be like, okay, what do we need to do to realize that and make it true? And we'll get pushed in that direction. So self-limiting beliefs, you gotta make the move, like Corey said, you gotta jump out there, don't care, and then study. Number three, the number three thing that I hear all the time, this just ain't working for me. It just don't work. It worked for this person, but it don't work for me. And Corey, I'm gonna give mine after you give yours. But I'm gonna tell you what a person told me for something that wasn't working for them. I said, "Well, what are you doing? Are you posting? Are you putting the information out there?" No, I haven't done any of that. Well, how's it supposed to work for you? You People want things to work for them without putting the work in. So what you think about that?
That's
They want to
that's man. That's the number one thing that the issue is. I think the last podcast we talked about it, or we were just maybe having a side convo about it. Two individuals, one just closed on her first property, another person still saving. What we still saving for? Here's the thing. Still saving to them means it might not work for me. It might not happen for me. But look, I'm gonna tell y'all this. So back when I lived in the country, my uncle used to have some horses, some cows and stuff, and put this electric fence up. Put that electric fence up, and for those of you who don't know, if you touch that thing, you're gonna feel a little jolt.
Oh yeah, you gonna feel it.
Feel a little tingle down your arm. It might travel up your spine or something like, you know what I'm saying?
If you grab that thing with your hand and cup that wire,
Hmm.
don't shut off, it might kill you. So
Oh yeah.
you want to test the electric fence, touch it with the backside of your hand because this is
So
gonna pop you.
so here's the thing. If you were to take an animal, and I want people to catch the reference, if you were to take an animal and you were to run through that fence, you would get shocked a little bit, but the fence would break down and then everything would open up for you. But if you walked into it, like I said, like Tyra just said, it might just kill you. You gonna your hand locked up now. All of a sudden, you locked up. It don't shut off. You might die. Most things in life that happen you ain't gonna die. And I'm gonna give you the answer to the question I just asked y'all. What's gonna happen even if you fail? You're gonna be back to square one. Oh my God! Congratulations, you didn't die. You're just back to doing the same thing you were doing anyway. But I want you to think about that as far as when you approach a situation. If you don't run full force at the thing, then yeah, you're probably gonna get hung up and then you're gonna be like, "Ooh, that stung. Let me get back. Let me replan and all this other stuff." But if you run full force at it, it might sting a little bit. You're gonna have some pitfalls here and there. You're gonna have to figure some stuff out. But then everything then open up for you because you got past the electric fence. Like I want you to actually realize that when you go full force at the thing and you not half stepping and you kind of like, oh well, I'm gonna just try it for a second. I'm gonna just try. That's why it's not working. Because you want 10% effort and 100% profit, basically.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
So what you have to do is understand that look, whatever it is that I'm gonna do, whatever it is that whatever action it is, let's go. I'm going full force at it. And then if it fails, if you can truly step back and say, I gave 100%, I gave 120, 150%, man, it just didn't work out. I guarantee you won't say this isn't for me. You're gonna say, how do I pivot? That's the buzzword. How do I pivot from here?
Yeah.
Because you're too invested now. When people become invested, like you are, and I'm gonna hit somebody where it hurt. When you with your wife, I'm talking to the fellas right now. Ladies, listen to. When you with your wife, I don't have one, but I know how this goes. When you with your wife and you rubbing feet, and you washing dishes, and you're doing everything, you washing clothes, you're doing everything to make her happy, and something ain't working, do you just simply say, all right, I'm out? Probably not, because
No.
you invested in it. You like, yo, I've been doing all these things. I've been catering to you. We done been building together. We've been doing these things. Man, that's my dog, man. That's my person. You ain't just about to be like, you know what, this first little argument that we had, hey, I'm out of there. And you have to become invested into it. You got to put some skin in the game. Sometimes skin in the game is money. Skin in the game is time. Skin in the game is your mental capacity put into it. You got to put some skin in the game. I'm just three things that you have to do. Stop. For those of you who need to simplify, stop, get up, do it 150%. That's it. Because when you start to do that, that's when you get into the habit of it's going to work. It has to happen. I put too much in this for it to fail. I put too much effort for me to just give up on it. That's what's wrong with a lot of people. They put in that 10% effort, want 100% profit on it. And then when something goes wrong, you ain't put enough effort in it, so you just abandon it. I'm good. I ain't lost nothing.
That's it. That is it. And you know what I think about, and because we haven't always been where we are, and I used to want the shortcut too. I'm like, man, if I can just get around the right person, they can shortcut my process. And now what I want to separate is there's a difference. There's a difference between getting information that will help you pass by some mistakes or overcome some things, and then there's the I don't want to do any work and I want somebody to elevate me. You can't do that. You gotta do the work. But you can surround yourself with people who have been there, and when you hit an issue, they can say, "Okay, I've been there, I've done that. This is how you get beyond that issue." But you still gotta run through it. You can't walk through it. And I think with people, especially people that talk to me about what they wanna do, what they're trying to do, I'm like, "Well, what are you doing?" And it's like, that's when it comes up, "I'm too busy. I'm so overwhelmed with what I got going on right now." Well, sometimes you gotta increase by decreasing. And I had to learn that too. I had to learn that before I could put one more thing on my plate, I need to subtract one thing. And I think a lot of people want so much. And I don't even know if they want this stuff. Do you really want it? Because if you really want it, you would do everything you could to get it.
Some people want the idea of doing it.
That's good. Ooh, that's good right there. And it goes back to they want the accolade or the benefit without the process. And I love Gary Vee because that's all he talks about is fall in love with process.
Hmm.
Don't care about the end goal. Don't care about the thing that you get, the benefit. If you love the process, then you will be able the rest is just a byproduct. It's it's the reward for becoming who you are. And they always say if your end goal is to become wealthy, you'll never become wealthy, you'll be broke. What your end goal should be is to be of value and offer something to people, and you will never be broke because people will always pay you for it. And so when I think about especially some people that they're trying to launch services or launch businesses or launch products or launch podcasts or groups, you got to put work in. Why would anybody come to your podcast if you're not inviting them? If you're not putting out regular content, if you're not posting, if you're not reaching out or making phone calls and saying, "Hey, can you come support me?" Man, when I first started coaching and I had my one-on-one clients and then I had group clients, sometimes the group session didn't have anybody in there but my mom.
But
She
you
was
were still doing.
she coming, but you still got to do them. You still got to go. And as I put the recording out, more people say, "Okay, this is a benefit. Let me come." And shoot, it was one or two times my wife just showed up just to support. She come, she said, "Hey, is anybody in there?" I'm like, "Nope, nobody came." She would just come and sit. I think for some people, they don't want to, and it goes back to ministry too. I remember preachers telling me, if you do the sermon, whether it's 10 people or 1,000. You gotta give the same effort. And people want big, but then they can't handle big. Like if you never spoke to 10 people, how you gonna get up and speak to 10,000? You're gonna embarrass yourself. So don't despise small beginnings. Put yourself into it and start moving for what you want. If you want to build a podcast, if you want to build a coffee shop, whatever you want to build, start doing it. And whether it's one person or 100, deliver the same value and energy and effort to all those people. And now, Corey, let's tackle.
Well, before you move to that though, I want people to pick something out of there from what you said. You were using action to overcome the fear of whatever was happening.
Yep.
So he was still doing, although, and I'm sure in your mind you were like, "Dang, nobody showed up." Dang.
Yep.
I used to hold this Monday morning leadership call, and there'd be sometimes same guy would pop up, maybe one or two extra people would come in there. Sometime it was just myself in there. And so I used to have an individual hit me up all the time, and she would say, "Oh man, what are you doing to try to grow the list? Like, I see you posting. Are you reaching out to anybody? What are you doing to grow your call and stuff like that?" And I was like, "I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing because if I'm posting it, if I'm marketing it, if I'm telling people about it, if I'm reaching out to people, if they're not showing up, that's fine. But what I'm not gonna do is not show up because I don't have new people on the call today, or because I don't have X amount of people, therefore we can't do it." So I want people to catch that. You in the midst of that, what I heard was I still took action and that overcame everything else.
Yep, absolutely. And it small beginnings, um, big endings. You got to start small. You got to move through. You got to love the process. So we hit fear, we hit self-limiting beliefs, we hit non-action. Now let's talk about the time factor because people want so much, but nobody has any time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Corey, what do we do about that? How do we get time?
Oh man. So there's a 168 hour drill that we can both put you through. So if you need that, definitely let us know. And it basically walks you down with like how much time you actually are wasting or how much time you can actually go find. But here's the thing. We ain't gonna talk about that today. I got a couple things that I want y'all to realize. I want you to, and this is gonna sound cliche, but start eliminating the distractions. And so what I mean by that is the computer games, the TV shows, the the phone calls. You don't need to be on the phone with your friend for 4 hours talking about how your day went. You got a dream to build. You got some self betterment to have, right? You don't need to be, man. It's just so many excuses that people make, and I'm gonna hit y'all where it hurt and say that it's excuses because we live in this world of increased noise. And so it gets louder and louder and louder every single day. And we can find every distraction. The kids need this. Man, them kid, how come the kids need you every day, but when it's time to go to the club, then all of a sudden you got time to go to the club?
Ooh, ooh.
And I'm talking about male or female. You take care of your kids all day during the week. Oh man, I can't. I gotta take care of the kids. And then the minute your homeboys pull up on you and they say, "Oh man, we about to go do this," you like, "Yep, let's go." But for some reason, if it's for the betterment of yourself, I ain't got no time for that. So here's what I want you to think about: eliminating the distractions. So I want you to actually, so we just talked about how action overcomes fear. I actually want you to take action, and that's going to overcome distractions. Start small. I don't have time to exercise. Well, if you're watching TV, look, in between commercials, if it ain't Netflix or something like that, in between commercials, stand up and walk in place. In between commercials, do some push-ups. In between commercials, do some crunches. Something that way you start to get in the habit of doing. If exercising is not your thing and you're just like, hey, I just want to get something done. I ask my team every single day. I said, what's the 1% today? I said, because I believe in you got to get better at 1%. You got to be at 1% in something every single day. So I ask them every single day, what's the 1% today? And a lot of times I have to tell them it can't be nothing but work. Because I don't want you to focus on, well, I'm just here. When I'm at work, I'm just focusing on work. No. We're still focusing on self. But you see, when they start to focus on self and they start to say, okay, what's that 1% I'm getting better at today for myself? All of a sudden it's 5%, then it's 10%, then it's 50%. Let's not even talk about compounding effects for those of your financial gurus out here, because as your percentage increases, as the amount that you have in the bank increases, that it at the same interest rate ain't hitting the same.
Right.
So focus on what's your 1%. Wake up every single day. This is the 1% I'm gonna get better at. No matter what, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna focus on getting better at that. The other part is I want you to focus on the present. The reason why you're so frozen, why you don't have time, is because you're thinking about tomorrow. You thought about 7 hours ago. You thought about 20 hours from now, 30 minutes from now. I got to do this. Focus on the present, because the present is going to allow you to say, do I have time to do this or not? The other part is emotionally check yourself. Most of the time, when you don't have time, is because you had a rough day. I need to get some food because today was nerve-wracking. Today was stressful, so I'm gonna have a drink. And then, but the thing is, all of a sudden, that one drink for that, and I think it was Fred Taylor was saying this on a podcast. He was an old running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He said, I used to take an hour to my family, and then he said I would get back to work on doing something for myself. And a lot of people need to realize that, because that instead of taking that 1 hour for your family, instead of taking that 1 hour to yourself, it's 5 hours, 6 hours. All of a sudden it's midnight, but you didn't have time, but you still doing something else that can't help you. This stuff ain't rocket science, man. It's take 15 minutes, take 30 minutes a day and do something for yourself to better yourself. So those are my things for real. I just think focusing on the present, eliminating those distractions, and then really take action, and that will overcome a lot of that. I don't have time. Just go do it.
Yeah, for sure. And when I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was saying, and she actually listened to us last week, and she was saying, sometimes with the personal development, with the getting the right around the right people, the right circle, it takes some people over and over and over and over to hear that information so they can start to make the change. And so that's why we one do this so we can share information, get it out there, and keep repeating it so it can get processed down into your brain. For me, time management all hinges on priorities. Every single person that I hear that say they don't have enough time, when I ask them what they're doing, it's like you said, it's a whole bunch of distractions. It's a whole bunch of wasted effort and energy. It's a whole bunch of I watch the news. I don't watch the news. Rarely do I watch the news. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. Like if I'm riding, I'm listening to a podcast. Like give me some information. Give me something I can download into my brain. And I got something for you. I ain't gonna forget it. I just had to say that so I'll make sure I don't forget it. But do set up a priority of your goals of what you want to do and then start checking those things off. Create the milestones, set the small things, like Corey said, the small incremental steps to it and do it. If you want to do 10 different things on your list, and I don't know why, and some one or two people listening might think I'm talking about them specifically, but I'm not. But I know
Let it hurt.
several people. They say a hit dog holler.
Hmm.
I know several people that I don't know what it is about photography. I guess it's just a hobby,
That's the hot thing right now.
but they want to be a photographer or do photography. They want to run a business. They want to have this. They work in a full-time job. I probably coached 4 people who had photography on their list, and I'm like, "Do you if you wanna be a photographer, go and be that. Own
Right.
that." I think people confuse hobbies with must-dos,
Mhm.
and that's where I'm about to pivot to you on this. People might be listening and say, "Well, you're talking about doing all this development stuff, but when am I supposed to have downtime? Or when am I supposed to have fun? Or when am I supposed to do what gives me pleasure?" I feel like if like for me, learning business, working gives me pleasure, the most pleasure. I mean, I might go shoot a little basketball, I might play some spades, some dominoes that give me some pleasure, but I don't have to spend 10 hours doing that. So, Corey, how do we get people away from, oh, y'all just trying to take away my fun? When am I supposed to watch TV?
Well, you just hit it on the head right there. A lot of people, like, when it comes to betterment of self, people go to the extremes. They're like, "Well, I'm either not doing it, or that's the only thing I ever do in life." And I'm like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like you said, I was just playing dominoes the other day, right? Like I'm going to my brother's house this weekend. We going, for the holiday, we gonna enjoy ourselves. I'm gonna still get work done, but it's not one or the other. It's and I'm trying to put it in this way, from how Coach K used to say that it's if and
Mm,
or however he said, and also you can do it also in conjunction with whatever you got going on. It just doesn't have to be 10 hours, right? Like if you enjoy watching football, I enjoy watching football with the best of them. I just might not need to see every single game. Maybe I just watch the game that my team is playing, or maybe I watch another game that it's a good matchup. And now you've watched 2 games, for example, but you don't need to watch every game. Some of y'all Sundays look like from 12 to pretty much 9:30, 10 o'clock. All you watched is football, and you know all the stats, and you know what 40 time they ran, and you know what jersey number they wore in college and what accolades they won in college. But you you don't know nothing about yourself. But I want people to realize that even if and me and my mama used to clown about this all the time. You remember when they had the hot topic and with the infomercials where people were cleaning with orange, and it was like Orange Clean and OxyClean with orange and now bleach with orange in it. And we was like, man, we've been cleaning with orange stuff for
yep.
Lord knows how long. The reason I bring that up is because one average idea is better than 20 genius ideas.
Mm,
And folks are trying to sit here thinking about the next Amazon, the next Verizon phone coverage, the next platform to put on. Is Clubhouse now? What's the next Clubhouse? What's the next Facebook? When in reality, somebody made it big because they decided to actually put cleaning with orange in a bottle.
right.
But the difference between you and them is they executed on the thing. They didn't spend time thinking about all these other things, or they didn't spend time watching football for 17 hours a day and stuff like that. Man, I want people to start to think, and this is the number one point I want you to get away from. You don't have to dedicate every single hour of your day to betterment.
Yep.
On the flip side, you're not going to dedicate any time to, like, it doesn't have to be two extremes of the spectrum. Meet me here, somewhere in between that. Meet me somewhere in between this. And then you can start to figure out, when do I have fun? Here's the other thing. If you got a dream, you got to build it. So why wouldn't you want to spend more time building that thing? Because if I spend more time today, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, wouldn't it be worth it? I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna get off my soapbox with that. But you don't have to spend every waking hour. And here's the last part I'm gonna say to that. I'm gonna stop talking. The reason Tyrus enjoys knowledge, Tyrus enjoys podcasts. I enjoy podcasts. I enjoy pouring into myself. And there's sometimes where I don't listen to so many podcasts, I got to turn it off because I'm like, my brain's starting to get fried.
Yep.
I got to go. I literally had to go put some music on and just sit in silence because I'm like, I didn't listen to so much today that it's too much. The reason we enjoy doing that is because we know the benefit of when it needs to get pulled out. We have a tool bag right here, and we just pouring into it. And then when we go to a house and we need to, and of course we ain't building no houses, but y'all catch the reference. When we go to a house and they say, I need you to build a structure, I already got all the tools. Right? Oh, you needed that? I already heard that before. I already did this before. Oh, you need this particular type of hammer? Yep, got that one too. That's why we enjoy it, because we get to pull that out whenever necessary.
And you know what? You have to get in the mindset of studying. I ask people to read just 10 minutes a day and they won't do that. I don't have time. I'm overwhelmed. 10 minutes? I mean, I ain't finna be crazy with it, but if you go to the bathroom at least one time a day, you probably got 10 minutes in there. And my pastor told me that actually, Corey, years ago. I said, Pastor, I just don't have time to study my Bible. Like, I'm trying to find time to study. And this is when I was having my medical condition. This was when I was having a lot of issues and I was in the bathroom. He was like, I ain't trying to say anything, but you got this condition. You're in the bathroom a lot, right? Take your Bible with you.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't rocket science. We try to make stuff much harder than what it really is. It's got to be a dedication. It's got to be something that you want bad enough to figure out, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to carve out the time to do it. So I'm reading this thing while you were talking because you bringing up some great points. Earl Nightingale said, if you spend 1 extra hour a day in study of your chosen field, you'll become a national expert in 5 years or less. And now that's not just 1 hour, but if you are in your field, you're working it, you spend eight hours. If you do 1 extra hour in your field, you'll be an expert in 5 years or less, a national expert. Then it went on and to say that Zig Ziglar, of course, one of the greatest motivational speakers ever, spent an average of 3 hours per day reading for over 40 years. 3 hours, 40 years. Warren Buffett, they say he go through 500 pages of information per day.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying, that it's not rocket science to this. It's not. They said it's common sense. The more you study, the more you'll know. So for everybody saying, "Well, I don't know this. I don't know the next step to take. I don't know what's going on." Are you reading? Are you there? Are you are you taking or making the effort to learn the information that you want to learn? So, you know, when we're thinking about this thing, don't make it hard. I was when I was in the military, I was in tech school after basic training. I had this staff sergeant in the army in my she was our teacher, our instructor, Staff Sergeant Ransby. She used to always say, simple stupid, simple stupid. And she had this high pitched voice and she was always hard, but everybody tried to make what we were doing so hard. Like some things just it's not as hard as you're making it. Keep it simple, stupid. And people don't like the word stupid, but when you come through the military, you come through some other places that's a little bit rougher, you're gonna hear some hard words and you just gotta deal with it. So I can't do it any nicer than that. But Corey, we talked about fear. We talked about limiting beliefs, self-limiting, because sometimes you just put it on yourself. Procrastination, not taking action, time. What else do you have while we get ready to wrap this up? What else do you think may be a factor of I want to do this. I really want. Oh, I got one. Money. I just don't have no money.
Yeah, I ain't got no money.
And we're gonna wrap up with that one. Talk to me about that, Corey. I ain't got no money to do it.
Oh man. So it's time and time again. We see it all the time. We hear it. I ain't got no money. But you had PS5 money.
Ooh, don't go there. Don't go there.
Here's the thing.
My
You got money. You are, again, you don't value yourself. You don't think that you can do it. And you, without even saying it, you're telling yourself this because, and I get it, they got the snake oil salesmen out here. They got the people out here that selling you a dream. I've been approached many times. Individual came up to me. I told y'all I speak That man says, what's your dream? What's your end goal?" I said, "I'm trying to be number one speaker in the world." And he said, "What if I told you you could do that in 3 months?" I was like, "I'll tell you a lie."
Yeah, stone.
Because I know how big my dreams are. There ain't no way you can get that in 3 months. You can't put that thing in the oven and it's a DiGiorno pizza.
Hold up, stop right there. I gotta get the Rodecaster Pro. I got to get the button. I don't want you to go past that. You identified that your dream was big enough and you knew that for what you want, there was no shortcut process.
Correct.
I think people miss that because everybody wants the short. Everybody wants to, hey, let me get a Bitcoin. So now it's worth 22 G
Hmm.
and I got 100 of them. But from the beginning, you had to mine that thing. You had to buy that thing. It took a lot of work to get there. It was not a microwave, and it's been years. So I don't want people to miss what you said. You knew that for the dream that you had, the goal that you had, can't nobody get it to you in 3 months. That's a bar.
but it's real, right? So I know where my dreams are going, and I know what it takes to get there. That'd be like if I said, and this is with anything, I want to make the next best shoe. And then I walked up to you and I said, you know what? What if I told you you could make the number one shoe in the world in 3 months? Well, you got to beat out Nike, you got to beat out Adidas, you got to beat out Under Armour, you got to beat out Christian Louboutin because them folks be buying these old high shoes that I don't even know what's the purpose of them. I like the red bottom though because my favorite color is red, but you got so much to compete with and so many avenues that you're saying, okay, well, this could happen in 3 months. So in 90 days, you telling me that my whole life I can be basically what you're telling me is I can be one of the richest people in the world
In 90
at
days.
this point. That don't make sense to me. But here's what I'm saying about the money. With the money, you have the money. What you don't feel like your money is important enough to develop yourself. Your money, you feel like your money is important for entertainment, your money is important for travel experiences, and there's nothing wrong with travel. There's nothing wrong with buying experiences. There's nothing wrong with buying things that will give you leisure. Sometimes playing video games is okay for people because that's how they decompress. You just don't need to play it for 10 hours.
Ooh, yep. Yep.
Sometimes going to the movies, sometimes traveling, that's your decompress. And you know what? You're ready to go get it after that. So we're not saying that. But what you're failing to realize is you have the money. So when an individual says, "Hey, do you want to spend $500? Do you want to spend $1,000? And I'll be able to take you from here to here." You say, "Oh man, that's a lot of money. I ain't got the money for that." Oh, you got it in the bank, but you ain't got the money for that, right? Just the same thing with time. Oh, you have time. You don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So I want people to understand that you have the money when it comes. I don't want to hear nothing about money after this coronavirus ends. I've been seeing too many people talk about how they struggling, it's hard time. Tyrus, we about to get the $600 stimulus check, right? I don't even know if I'm getting the check. Are we getting this check? Is everybody getting the check?
Nah,
Everybody ain't getting a
I
check.
ain't get the last one. So I
Oh,
ain't getting it.
so they say we was gonna get a $600 stimulus check, and then guess what I see on my timeline?
What they gonna do with the money?
Nah, not even that. Oh man, that's all we getting. Man, we just getting $600. That's all you could give me is $600. I thought you was broke. I thought you was struggling.
I
It
ain't
sound
broke,
like
man.
I don't know about you, but when I was at my brokest, $20 was a lot of money, much less 600. So you have the money, you just you you haven't found the importance of where to put it. Let me
Mm,
say that.
yep. That's a bar. You dropped it all the way right there. There's not much else I can say beyond you gotta make it a priority. If you wanna get to a certain place, everybody wanna make money, but nobody wanna spend it. That's crazy. Nobody gets rich overnight without putting something. And I'm talking about even the negative, even the drug dealer, even the negative people that got money, they put something out there. Whether
Mhm.
it's their life on the line, Whether it's a shady deal or whether you did it right, you still spent something. And so I just want to encourage everybody that's listening, stop being stuck. You don't have to be stuck. Don't be stuck by fear. Don't be stuck by self limiting beliefs. Don't be stuck by inaction. Don't be stuck by the I don't have time. Don't be stuck by the I don't have money. We gave you practical steps on each one of these to get beyond where you are. So start taking action because this is what happens. You may be in a circle with people and you're trying to get to a certain place. If you're not moving and they are, they're going to leave you behind. And don't be mad at them because Corey, what I asked the other day, do y'all know anybody that make $25,000 a month?
Mhm.
Because I want to get in a group of people that can get me to a certain place, and then I can go to the next level, and I can go to the next level. It's my mom, she got it. She got it when we talked. She said self development doesn't stop. It's a continuous process through your whole life, and you just go through levels. And as you graduate a certain level with certain people, that's why they say there's seasons in life. Some people are in this season with me. We're in the same boat. But as I graduate seasons, if you're not at least on the pathway, I don't want to be around you. I speak, ain't no love lost, but we can't hold long time conversations. Like, why do you want to talk to me? And that might sound harsh. Like, what are we talking about? Hey, can I just holler at you for about, let's just jump on the call for what? Because now
Right.
I can't get my time back. So what's the purpose of it? I can,
Energy costs.
I can give you 10 minutes and we can say, "Hey, hi, how the family doing? All is well. Goodbye." But I don't want to talk to you about your job not going good for you. I don't want to talk to you about you not being able to pay your bills. I don't want to talk to you about being broke or being out of shape or being overweight or being on medication or being any of these things, especially when you can control some of them. Some of the stuff you can't control. Some things, if you're born with certain things, you can't control. You can't help it. But you can do what you can. And I'm gonna wrap it up with that, Corey. You got anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to get a people something one more practical thing. So I want to, and this randomly popped in my head because I was thinking about the Chappelle show just now. And I remember the guy, he was in court and he was like, "Man, I plead the fifth." And then he was like, "One, two, three, four, fifth." But the fifth stuck with me because I just need you to think in five, right? Um, I want you to take 5 hours of time and break it down like this. I want you to spend 1 hour reading for one, however you need to break that up. There's 7 days in a week. You figure this out. Spend 1 hour of reading. I want you to spend 2 hours of reflecting on yourself and what you read. And then I want you to take 2 hours for that week actually experimenting on what you just learned.
All right.
Just 5 hours. That's it. That's all I'm asking y'all for. 5 hours. You can find 5 hours in your week between 7 days for you to take an hour reading, 2 hours of reflection, 2 hours of actually experimenting with that thing. So some of them tires they're gonna say, "Well, I thought y'all said I need to read more." Here's the thing. I want you to, because there are some people who just got a whole bunch of books they read and don't do nothing with it. I want you to take information, turn that into action. That's
Mm,
all I got for it, man.
get it. I got something else. Don't hit me over the head, Corey. If y'all text Empower to 443-230-5587, text Empower and say Merry Christmas. We're gonna give y'all an assessment for free.
Oh man,
A whole one, not just the disc. We're gonna do all of it. Disc
the whole thing.
and attributes.
Oh man.
$347 value. We're gonna give it to you for free. But you gotta text Empower and Merry Christmas to 443-230-5587 or text Happy Holidays. You can just do Happy Holidays if you don't want to do the Christmas thing.
Hey, let's go. Y'all better take advantage of that.
This
I better
assessment
see.
will allow you to gain an understanding of how you think, what drives you, and how you show up externally. It's going to cover your natural talents. We'll be able to help guide you and help you along a path. And me and Corey will split. We get a bunch of people do it. We'll split doing the assessments, give you
Mhm.
a free consultation breakdown of your assessment. So do that. Change your life. And you gotta do it before January 1st. We ain't doing the well, I did it 8 months later.
Right. It's March 22nd, huh? Y'all still doing them assessments.
So you gotta take action. Now, for those who are listening, you say, well, I didn't catch the episode and I didn't catch it until later. We'll rerun it back, but we'll put out another call for another set of dates. So make sure you tuned in and you're listening. Make sure you're sharing it. Well, that's it. That's all. We hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals. We'll see you next time.
Peace.